Jackson Briggs, a former Marine, is attempting to rejoin the military after being released due to a brain injury and seizures. Therefore, Briggs' boss, Captain Jones, presents him with an opportunity. In exchange, Briggs must transport a female Belgian shepherd named Lulu to Nogales for the funeral of Riley, Riley's handler, who passed away in a car accident a few days earlier. Captain Jones will make a call and, as a commanding officer, will confirm Briggs' application. Briggs is required to deliver Lulu to White Sands Base after the funeral so that she can be put to death because she is hostile and no troops or police officers are willing to adopt her. Briggs is given some items to give Riley's family as well as Lulu's Love Me book, a journal that every soldier is required to keep in which they record all of their observations from battle and training. They are also warned not to touch Lulu's ears because she is sensitive to touch. He sets out on a 1,500-mile excursion with a barking puppy in tow. However, he chooses to take the trip rather than going directly to the location and waiting for the burial there. Briggs visits the range soon after departing the base. Lulu is able to escape the transport box while he is away and begins destroying his seats. Briggs must thus tranquilize her with a sausage-shaped tranquilizer before moving on. He leaves the dozing Lulu in the car and goes to 2 prostitutes in the evening. However, she quickly awakens and begins to bark once more, which is noted by a bystander. Despite Briggs' warning, the man tosses a rock at the car, supposing it to be an abused dog, and Lulu comes out and attacks him. While Briggs rapidly pulls her back, the 2 females run away from him. Briggs resumes his travels the following day while having a monologue with Lulu. He reveals that he and Lulu are both a burden to the army since he has seizures when he is stressed out and she is hostile and disrespectful. Lulu suddenly manages to release herself from the collar that is holding her, jumps out of the car, and flees while hurting herself. Quickly coming to a stop, Briggs tries to catch her. He is directed to the residence of a nearby farmer by the blood trail she left behind. Briggs is tied to a chair in the pigsty and struck with a tranquilizer dart by a man named Gus, who then questions him there. He bluffs that he killed Lulu because he believes Briggs is a member of the commando unit sent to seize his marijuana. Briggs escapes when he departs and pursues him into the home. He discovers Lulu, whose injured paw is being attended to by Gus's wife, as he is preparing to kill him with an axe. Briggs is taken aback by Lulu's composed demeanor. He makes up with Gus outside the home and briefly shares Lulu's tale with him. Eventually, Gus's wife informs Briggs that Lulu had her paw treated and that she has provided a connection. He discovers that Lulu wants Indian food and a nice mattress. He bids the pair farewell before departing with Lulu. In order to get Lulu into the hotel for free, Briggs pretends to be blind and uses Lulu as his service dog, despite his strong reservations. He bathes Lulu, then in the evening flings with the front desk clerk. Suddenly breaking free, Lulu assaults the Muslim physician Al-Farid, but fortunately she is unable to damage him due to her muzzle. Briggs slips as he tries to catch her, showing that his vision is actually good. Lulu is taken away and he is taken into custody. He meets a racist police officer who believes he deliberately set the dog on Alfarid when he spends the night in detention. Briggs tries to justify Lulu's aggressive behavior in the interrogation room the following morning, claiming that she was trained to assault people like Alfarid, and they are both released. Briggs decides to visit his ex-wife and children because they still have plenty of time. Since his wife won't let him inside, he decides to visit Lulu's brother Nuke and his handler Noah instead, who both reside close by. During an afternoon cookout, Noah tells Briggs that he was in a similar situation with Nuke and had to work hard with him for 6 months before the military permitted him to adopt him. Noah meets Lulu as if she were an old friend. When Briggs bids Noah farewell later that night, he finds that Riley's things and prescription have been stolen from his car, which has been ransacked. They are able to find the thieves and recover the majority of the stolen goods with the aid of the 2 canines. Briggs departs, but his car breaks down after several hours of nighttime, torrential rain driving. He seeks safety in an abandoned structure with Lulu. Due of her fear of the storm, Lulu almost attacked Briggs, but ultimately decides against it. Briggs leaves in a rage, but ultimately comes back and turns on Grey's Anatomy. While doing so, he reads Riley's moving entries from the Love Me book about how he nearly lost Lulu when she was shot and how he now understands that she was his and not his master. They finally make it to the funeral the following morning. They are able to get a ride in a tiny truck and go a short distance before continuing their journey on foot. Briggs cradles Lulu in his arms when she becomes too exhausted to continue. They eventually succeed in arriving on time at the funeral. Lulu falls down by her previous master's shoes when Briggs releases her. During the eulogy, Briggs consoles her and hands Riley's possessions over to his family. Briggs fixes his automobile after the funeral and phones Captain Jones. He argues that Lulu has changed significantly over the journey and is no longer hostile, and he implores Jones to reconsider euthanizing Lulu. Jones counters, "It's not up to them, though." In order to give Lulu a chance of surviving, Briggs stops with her in the prairie on the way back, removes her collar, and then releases her. Although Briggs tries to scare Lulu away, she refuses to go and instead hops back into the car, prompting Briggs to follow her. That evening, he experiences a seizure at the hotel. After regaining his composure, he tells Lulu he is all right, massages her ears, and then lies down on the ground. Lulu stays by his side and faithfully rests her head on his chest. Briggs takes Lulu to the White Sands base in the morning as planned, muzzles her, and gives her to the rookie Corporal Lewitz. Briggs asks him to give Lulu another chance and another evaluation before killing her. He ultimately returns and takes Lulu with him, leaving his expired ID on the base. He then leaves the base himself, but when he notices Lulu's frantic battle in the rearview, he can't handle it and returns. Later, he adopts Lulu and even arranges for his family to come back to him. The final scene of the movie shows Briggs and Lulu perched on a cliff, gazing out over the water. Lulu saved his life, Briggs thanks her.